I remember that.
Hey guys, welcome to another iteration of the My Hero Academia manga chapter reads. We got the new chapter that came out, which is chapter 382. I'm here with Mark, who is.
Stretching.
I was gonna say you're quietly rebelling because I'm trying to like move on to the next topic.
No, sorry, I was just stretching.
Gotcha. Mark, there's something we gotta do before every new manga chapter. What would that be?
Recap episode.
Yes, it's the recap. Apologies, Mark. I know that we were talking like off camera. I guess I'm just gonna put this here.
I was just
No, it's just like no. It kind of pertains to like what we're doing about the Dragon Ball things. I feel like I'm brushing off like way too much just because I'm focused on like My Hero and like this tangent of Dragon Ball before we even like went into like My Hero stuff was kind of like okay, all right,
Oh no, you're fine.
okay.
You're fine.
So
We were to sum it all up. We went on a tangent.
yeah.
Then we're like, wait, we should probably start recording. I was like, oh, you're right. Let's do that.
Yeah, I was actually trying to get to that.
I know, that's my bad. I was on a tangent.
So, chapter 381, right? It kind of like jumps into like a quick introduction of Shigetsu High, classmates jumping into the scene. I guess you could say the moral of the chapter is like this like glimmer of hope that All For One like notices. He's like, hey, I see hopeful. What's going on over here?
I said, disgusting.
It was funny
Disgusting.
because the next page following after like that chapter is literally Tokiyomi like falling down, and then you see one of the pussycats like look over to him, and she's like, "I got an idea."
Like a light bulb popped over her head. Ding.
Meanwhile, everyone's just like trying to throw projectiles at All For One. He's like, eh. He uses one of the like twice clones to like shield him, and he tries to absorb it. It's like that. He's like, I can't really absorb like this twice. I'll figure it out. But at first, let me do this crazy Dragon Ball like energy blast,
Revenge Death Ball.
and then we see a little bit of like all the other people like kind of witnessing, just guarding up against this attack, and then you also have Endeavor, who's being chased by. You barely can recognize him, but it's Toya.
Toya extra crispy.
Too angry to die.
Cajun style.
Oh no, that's a really toasted Cajun style.
That's people admit people. That's like I've seen somebody do that before on TV, like in a show. Like he burnt the food. He said it's Cajun style. I was like, my God, that's not Cajun style.
That's like extra well done.
Extra well done. Some would say it's about like a hockey puck.
That's way past done. Oh,
It's
but
just a brick.
let me see. I like a whole bunch of honestly like it's a revenge death ball followed with like tendrils like coming from the epicenter of where he's at, and it's like really difficult to like for people to like to one guard against this, and two to just kind of like get towards him, and
Yeah, even Inasa got hit.
mm-hmm. But while All For One was giving yet another monologue, in comes from behind
Hello there.
a big dark shadow with Tokiyomi in the center, talking about the different
think I'm in
shades of
trouble.
darkness. It's like, you have no right to speak about that, All For One.
He just said, "It smells like bitch in here."
But yeah, he goes in for like a giant, like crazy punch. The abyssal black body, light of Bowder. It's like, whoa.
Very metal name.
He keeps it consistent. I give him that.
This is true. Tokoyami is always on that edge.
He's been. I still love that bit where like they introduce each other to their dorm rooms, and it's just
His
like
room.
everyone's like, whoa, this is like
So-
it's so dark in here. Like I had this in middle school, and Deko's like, oh, this is so cool. Get the hell out.
He's just, don't look at my edginess.
Whoa, okay. So, Mark, just to tell you, I didn't see any spoilers for this one actually, which is weird
And I,
because like you were kind of, well, I mean, you could have just done it as a general reminder. I just thought that that could have meant that like something big was happening in this chapter that people would have otherwise just talked about like on Wednesday, early as Wednesday.
they probably are. They probably are. I was just saying this just in case because I was like, just a reminder. Hey, see, if you want to be if you want to be more surprised, just don't go on Twitter.
Fair enough. Well, thankfully that is the case on this one. So we're here with chapter 382. I'll go and read the chapter title. Don't let him go. Let him go.
Don't let him go.
And you let her go. Or
Oh,
before
and
we
you
get
let her
copyrighted,
go.
we start with the first page. In that moment, as we see God, what am I even looking at? Is that all the twice still? Yeah, no,
That's
actually,
all.
yeah, it's all the twice. I kind of remember that. These two men came to realizations. And I believe that, yeah, that's all for one. And I think that's Hawks. Yeah, it's Hawks. I think. Now it's kind of hard to see from this angle. I think this is all for one. He was thinking like he gave that femme fatale just the tool she needed to bring ruin to all. And Hawks is like in his thoughts, liar. Let's see. So, to repeat, in that moment, these two men came to realizations that the situation was not as optimal, as disastrous as it could have been. As we have like one big panel on the first page, you see Shigaraki, you see Dobby. Um,
All for one.
oh, I guess that is all for one. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen his mask.
I actually missed that the first time I ever looked at this, so I
Mhm.
was like, oh shit, would you look at that?
Someone like really padded up. I was like, whoa.
And of course, you see she's making them. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. In the next page, see one hand touch the ground. It's Shigaraki's.
What happened? What happened?
What? But I just see one thing of text saying gloop. I was like, what is that? But looks like we have Jiro, Froppy, and Araka in the panel. Froppy's saying this may be wishful thinking, but as bad as things are, they could be worse. If her first move would have been to transform into All for One or Dobby and then make doubles of them, we'd be doomed. But that's not how it played out. Our only options victory is the reason behind that. We know that clones created by the original Twice's double quirk could use their own quirks. But based on what you had learned, Uravity, when Himiko transforms, she can only use that person's quirk if she loves them. Which for her could be a good spectrum of feelings.
I know exactly. What do you consider love?
For her, it's everything.
Which is problematic.
Yeah, so it's like you can't really. Let's just hope for the best. Some sort of compatibility issue, maybe. Either way, it seems like Himiko's own restriction applies to the double she creates after transforming into Twice. If so, can we assume her love doesn't extend to Shigaraki and the others? And that's why she can't use their quirks? Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't think we really like extrapolated on like other people, but it's always been like people like Araka, possibly Froppy. I guess Deku could have been one of those, but all like One for All by in and of itself could also be an issue to even try to
Actually, saw
copy.
that someone else who could copy quirks, like Monoma, he couldn't use it.
Right. And the next page. I kind of like how they're just kind of hypothesizing this right now. But Froppy's like, I may be off the mark, but in an extreme situation like this, a single emotion could override that restriction in any second. Oh. That's why it's imperative that we track down the original Himiko quickly. If that's true, one might...
Oh gosh, that frame.
Yeah, I see it. If that's true, what might give her away? Uraka thinks about. Just
That
that,
face,
just
that
that face of Toga. God,
from back from the camp.
bruh. Within the I guess I'll take the this last page and the page right after that because that's a big panel. In the just this whole group of twice, you just hear like why? Flashback. We'll make sure the dead man's parade keeps marching, says Dobby. As I was gonna say this is probably her as twice all saying all heroes must die, all heroes must die, but deep down she's having internal thoughts. She's like, I love Tomura and Toya, but unlike Jin and Ochako, their quirks aren't working for me. Even when I tested before the big battle, nothing. Even though I love them to bits, even though that love should be there, even though Jin's quirk works for me, she really doesn't know either.
And she's like, why?
Yeah, so it must be different, something that she doesn't even understand herself. Oh, I just looked at the next page. That's a big. Okay, I'll just.
Ay.
I'll just finish this. She was just thinking, why can't I become Jin? Literally all the twice is all heroes must die, all heroes must die, all heroes must die.
Repeatedly.
And you just
like, let me count actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. So it's like nearly 40 times.
and if you look closely, I mean you don't have to really look closely, but you see one Jin in there, and I'm pretty sure that's her within the masses of darkness. It's like a Kingdom Hearts reference. Don't. Next page is another. My God, dude, it's another huge panel.
You remember what Kristoff was saying? You remember what he was saying he wanted? I think he's getting it a little bit.
Okay, good.
Or at least he will be soon, by the looks of it.
Hmm.
It's Uraraka. She's always loved seeing happy people. So of course, as we see her using her gunhead martial arts, fighting off all the twices.
This is crazy to look at.
He's gotten so Horikoshi has gotten so good at battle scenes. And then we see, I think in the background we see Tokoyami.
Yeah.
And, he's charging through, and we see Inasa's wind blowing them all away.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see in the background we see Toga like looking at her hands.
It's pretty much the exact same like shot as like the previous page,
except you actually see what's going on outside of that little black space.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Uraraka looking over, and she sees the real Toga, the twice Toga, like with a tear coming down their eye.
Mm-hmm.
She zeroed in on her tears. I think Uraraka figured out who it was because she could see one of them was crying.
That's good eyesight considering like the chaos.
And it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to the next page. We see Dark Shadow coming through. Keep it up. Or you see Dark Shadow punching the crap out of All for One still.
Yeah.
Keep it up, Tsukuyomi. Pin him down and run out the clock. He's probably invincible right now, but times are not on his side. As he's holding on to Tokoyami. We've got Endeavor to thank for thrashing him once already. Now let's put a stop to him here. Provide Dark Shadow with cover. Block the light. This is Jiro.
Mm-hmm.
Provide Dark Shadow with cover. Block the light. Fuel his darkness.
Fuel the darkness.
And then we see Cammy for realsies. How about an Aurora Night Sky for my glamour quirk? KK. Glamour. So that's the name of her quirk, Glamour.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, actually, it's actually spelled differently too.
I couldn't remember if they've ever revealed that before.
I think they noted that like back when she and the like other gang were doing like
the makeup thing.
makeups, yeah.
Maybe they did. I just can't remember exactly. Then we got to stop Toga from making more of herself. That's some of the members from the other class. I think that's Shroom Girl, and I think that's
Yeah,
also Kamui Woods.
probably. That's a really small panel, but yeah.
And then we see Inasa. I'm here to support everyone from every angle. And then we just see, boom! We see a huge shockwave knock back Dark Shadow and everyone else.
That's
Sound the
sheesh.
sound effects. The sound effects. Doom. Ah, wah! And we see all for one there. He's his hand on the ground, but one hand up.
Mhm.
So he did all that with one hand.
He got pushed.
He absolutely just did that with a Dragon Ball level blast right there. He just said, obnoxious as ever. Bruisers who impose with brute force. Next page.
Oh no!
He's getting younger.
Yeah, yeah. It's starting to look like he's around like Class 1A's age.
And now he's still intimidating looking.
Bruh, this shot of Tokiyami like tells it all. Like Jesus.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
He's even younger. Oh no, he's young.
What if Cam's like, why is he kind of?
he's we see Tokiyami looking shook. He's like, he's even younger now. We see him look over, and then he just goes to run away, blasting off and like leaving all the heroes behind as he
Mhm.
blasts off. We
Holy.
need darkness. Not so fast, you. That's Inasa saying that. Here, here's a gale. Here's a gale to boost you toward him. He ain't getting away. We see him looking forward, like he's like these two men came to realizations that as he's flying away, that the situation, as we see them both look, Hawks and Endeavor looking off, we see the sound effect rumble.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait, what's that in the distance? You see like smoke slash steam coming out. It's like, it's the rumbling.
Chugga 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 chugga, rumbling, rumbling. This is you, I believe.
Okay.
Finish us off.
That the situation was actually we have man, they are gifting us so many giant panels. It is just it's nice. It's very nice. Man, dude, we see like we see the winds, we see Tokuyami, of course we have All for
Black
One.
lightning. Like the black tendrils.
Yeah, that like they're coming straight out of him, and you just see like in the forefront is look the detail on like this dude's back, but it's Gigantomachia,
The one man army.
the one mountain army.
Truly.
Off one gives just one simple order: flatten them, Machia. The situation was actually perfectly optimal. That the situation was, and Hawks is like, not the disaster, not quite the
disaster.
not quite the disaster. It looks like, right, Sakachi? Next page.
Boom! Nani?
My God.
You want to describe what just happened?
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, it's like it plays out like every Jedi movie where like the Sith Lord's like kill them, and the apprentice turns back on them.
Right?
He turns, and just like how like Tokiyami like in Dark's house stuck up on him right behind, he turns around and it's just a whole region tossed at him.
He just had legit a chunk of ground just thrown at him.
Real quick, like he tries to turn it around. He's like, "What now?"
I think it's his Hal.
Oh, well, yeah. Sorry. What? How? It's like he notices like it's you, Pest. As he looks, zoom. He's got crazy zoom eye vision. He like zooms in on Makia's like top head, and you see a couple of dudes just like on top of it, like hiding behind the hair. And you see, first of all, it's Kirishima. He's like, "Yo, Tokuyami, we're here too."
And we
of
see that
course,
boy.
we can't let that dude reach Midoriya and Shigaraki. And that's how they control. That is the smartest thing I could have imagined.
For you guys not knowing what you're looking at, it's Shinzo with his persona cords.
He
Dude, he comes in clutch.
That's so good.
Because he only listens to All for One's voice.
And I guess Shigaraki, but like, yeah. That wow. Wow. You know, I'm glad. I'm glad.
That's why he's listening right now. Is because he's like, oh, well, you told me to do it. So basically, what they're doing right now is they've got an attack dog.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best attack dog.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad that they're utilizing Makia for this one. Also, I would have also believed that they just did their best just to subdue Makia and just wanted to keep him on the ground, but they made use of Shinzo's ability once more, and they're doing it to great effect. It's probably the best use of it, actually.
Yeah, because he's got A, mind control, B, the persona cords.
Yeah, and you know, I would always think about Shinzo being placed into the front lines of each of these battles, trying to take control of the main villain. But it's understandable if that's a little too risky because you don't really know like how it affects the person if they have like one personality or another one or whatever external factor. So I guess that could have been like an offline excuse for like not including him in all these fights, just to like one, level out the playing field, and also just to make it seem a little bit too impossible. And so this is the solution, or at least another way to add him in, and I think it's great considering that like it just kind of shows like the level of planning is like it's there. They have this guy like on lockdown. So even though Tokuyami couldn't quite like subdue him to that certain extent, we got Plan B. B being big.
Dude, this is legit. He's like, you can't stop me. Oh, I know, but he can.
Yeah.
It's legit the Thor movie thing. Oh, I know, but he can.
So now he's got his hands full. I just love the shot of, yeah, it's just the thing of Earth and everything above it. It's like part of a mountainside. They just like took up and chucked at this man.
Quite literally, he just took a huge chunk out of the ground and threw it. Like, it looks like he just took the top off of a mountain.
I think if looking at it from Thor Ragnarok, I think Makia could like take down Surtur.
Big monster. Honestly, Makia is like Surtur size, but like the Hulk in terms of like his strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you put the two together.
Yeah. I mean, really, the only thing that could stop Makia really is All for One.
Yeah, like in terms of, I think that they could. He's not invincible. It would take a great amount of effort to take him down, but it's possible. But the only thing to make him stop, like hit the brakes, is All for One.
Yeah. Or
he's like a puppy for All for One. Because he's like, Master, I'm coming to see you. Like he acts like a puppy dog when it comes to him. It's like and it's like one of those attack dogs that seem so vicious, but their owner comes up and they just like
Piano. I gotta tell you, this is probably like a top chapter in a while. Honestly, well, actually, there's also like just the whole like shots of like Midoriya and All for One / Shigaraki, and really just the chapters that involve like Gentle is just like that's crazy. Like I feel like the panels there were like insane, but this one just kind of gives as far as just these big panel spreads.
Yeah, this arc has just been bringing out nothing but banger like comebacks.
Mm-hmm. And you
Like
know
these
where
comebacks just keep getting better.
and the crazy thing is that we all kind of know exactly where the anime is right now and how fast it's keeping up now. So it's only a matter of time we get to this point, and we're gonna see like crazy things. I mean, well, I guess to focus a little bit more on the manga by itself. Some crazy stuff as far as just talking about like I guess the workings behind Toga's quirk and how she doesn't really even know about it, leading to like these cool like visual panels where there'd be the huge spread of like a twice Toga like all by herself in darkness, followed by like the next panel being like this huge spread of the landscape of like what was it, Dark Shadow like still like going in on All for One while I don't see the other characters like right now, but is Iraka who's throwing hands. And then obviously I really want to see like that shot of the boom before you see the young O for one. And then of course seeing Gigantomachia like approach, and then like literally in the next panel just see a whole region toss at him.
You ever just see like someone just rip the cap off of a mountain and just throw it at you?
I think it's one of those things where this is this is gonna be as close as you can get to like Iron Man like witnessing Thanos throw an entire moon at him.
If you throw another moon at me, I am gonna lose it.
After which you're like, okay, I know you're upset.
I get, but
I understand. But man, dude, okay, yeah, this is a solid chapter. I really like this one.
oh yeah, it was a really good chapter. I especially like. I think everyone always also enjoys seeing Shinzo.
Yeah, he's definitely the underdog since like his arrival. He was definitely more like antagonistic, just because he didn't really know his place or how he could like really get out of the stump that he was in. But
He's very much a character that is like you know how like there's the characters that people will see and they'll be like even though they're not necessarily like a major character, they're a
mhm.
very well liked character.
Yeah,
I think that it definitely applies to Shinzo.
I think with Shinzo too, it's it was cool to see him like on both sides, and I think the it also helped that Class 1A kind of had this, I guess, this reputation, or at least for us, a reputation of, you know, a couple of like outcasts feeling like they're gonna just like not fit in or choose not to, and they will.
And of course with Shinzo especially like him being here also makes sense because if we're talking about people that Izuku has helped that are all coming back to help him in the end, naturally Shinzo is also one of them.
This is true. There's like, I guess if you look at the grand scheme of things, there's like a couple of individuals that Deku's like helped out that would be like very vital to this. And of course we also include Eri, even though she's not physically in the fight here.
We're not
But
going to put a child on the battlefield.
right. But we'll definitely put Mineta in there too.
Here's the thing. He's older. She is baby.
She is baby. And Mineta is baby sized. But
He's just small.
honestly, if
And
Mineta gets a moment in this one, like a really big one, that would be like the craziest thing to see. Aoyama, of course, but like
they still
little,
have to show that. They still have to show Aoyama as part of the battlefield.
yeah. That was a really interesting one because it felt like that was going to be a little bit more, definitely not like heavy handed in like how the fight would be dealt with, but it's definitely a little bit more. Kind of think about that. Food for
What would
thought.
be what's wild right now is to think that imagine if All for One's actually gonna take down Gigantomachia, his big attack dog.
I wouldn't put it past him. I think he would have to do it in order to like leave. Otherwise, he has to face more regions being thrown at him.
It's like but Maki is such a huge asset to him. I don't know if he will think of like, oh, I'll just make another one, or if he's just in the mind of, or if he's in the mind of like he'll be actually have a hard time doing that because I mean he's such a monster.
I think that would ultimately be the toughest choice. I think it would come down to him making that choice of like, okay, well, you've been really bad, so I'm gonna have to subdue you. But man, it's gonna take a lot. And I think that's exactly what everyone wants him to do.
Uh,
So
it, I mean, it's definitely going to be. I honestly can't wait to see what happens next chapter because I mean, my man just got attacked by his attack dog,
hmm
and we got to see that boy Shinzo and Kiroshima's here.
yeah. So next chapter, I just checked. It's within the week. So that's good. So we'll reconvene again for chapter 383. I think I've said my piece about everything. This is a really solid chapter, but any last thoughts, Mark, before we wrap?
No, I think we've got it all out the way.
All right, then. In that case, we'll go ahead and call it here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Hashtag bye, everybody.